You shared something personal with someone you trusted completely. Weeks later, it came back to haunt you in ways you never imagined. Words spoken in confidence became weapons. What you offered openly became leverage. Your honesty turned into your vulnerability. You were taught that honesty means full disclosure, that authenticity requires constant transparency. But the Stoics understood something sharper. Not everyone has earned access to your inner world. Strategic silence is not dishonesty. It is intelligence protecting what matters. This isn't about paranoia. It isn't about hiding from people. It's about discernment, knowing what to share, with whom, and when the timing is earned. Epictetus warned, "Be careful whom you trust with your vulnerabilities, for the careless will wound you with what you give freely." Wisdom in what to reveal is protection worth more than gold. Today, we'll examine 10 things you should never tell anyone about yourself. From your next moves before they're complete, to the fears that expose your weakest points. Number 7 is the most overlooked. Reveal it, and you hand others a map to manipulate you without realizing it. By the end, you'll know exactly what to protect, not to isolate yourself, but to preserve authority over your own narrative. If you've ever regretted sharing something that was later used against you, this is your protection going forward. Let's begin. Number 1, your next moves before they're complete. You get excited about a new plan and tell people immediately, not because you need advice, but because it feels good to say it out loud. And then something strange happens. The energy fades, momentum weakens, action slows. The plan doesn't die loudly, it dissolves quietly. Because the moment you announced it, your mind registered progress that hadn't happened. The telling replaced the doing. Your brain doesn't fully distinguish between talked about and done. When you share a goal publicly, you receive validation early. Nods, praise, curiosity, encouragement. That validation triggers the same dopamine loop the work was supposed to earn. You feel productive without producing. You feel accomplished without completing. That's the trap. Sharing plans before execution invites 3 dangers at once. First, interference. People insert opinions you didn't ask for. They question timing. They suggest alternatives. They dilute clarity. Second, doubt. Not because your idea is weak, but because their fear speaks louder than your conviction. Third, premature judgment. People evaluate outcomes that don't exist yet. And once judgment enters, pressure follows. You are now performing for expectations instead of building in silence. Kai announced his business idea to everyone who would listen. Family dinners turned into explanations. Casual chats became pitches. He talked so much about the future that he started feeling like he was already living it. Months passed. Nothing launched. No product. No revenue. No proof. The talking had satisfied what discipline was meant to earn. Everyone knew the vision. No one saw results, because there were none. Years later, when he tried again, he told no one. Not friends, not family, not even people who asked. The silence forced honesty. Progress became the only source of satisfaction, not applause, not encouragement, not imagined respect. And without an audience watching, results came faster. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." Applied here, waste no time announcing what you'll become it first. Silence protects momentum. Silence removes pressure. Silence forces you to rely on discipline instead of validation. Sharing plans also gives others the chance to discourage you before you've built enough internal strength to resist their doubt. Every plan starts fragile, like a seed. Expose it too early, and careless footsteps destroy it. Protect what's unfinished. When asked about your goals, stay vague, on purpose. I'm working on some things. That's in progress. You owe no explanations. Completed work doesn't need defending. It doesn't need hype. It doesn't need justification. Results announce themselves. Your plans deserve silence until silence is no longer possible. Thing number 2, your income and financial details. You mention your salary casually. You don't think it matters. You're just sharing information. But the moment the number leaves your mouth, something shifts. The room doesn't react loudly. It recalibrates silently. People don't argue with you. They recalculate you. Money changes how others see you, instantly and permanently. Not because they are bad people, but because comparison is automatic. Those earning less may feel quiet resentment they never voice. Those earning more may dismiss you without realizing they're doing it. Everyone begins adjusting expectations around you. What you should pay, what you should give, what you should cover. Your finances become part of everyone else's mental accounting. And once that happens, it never fully goes back. Financial disclosure creates invisible pressure you didn't agree to carry. Nadia mentioned her promotion and salary at a family gathering. She thought she was sharing joy with people who loved her. Within months, her role changed. She became the unspoken solution to financial stress. Loan requests appeared from relatives she barely spoke to before. Gifts were expected to be larger. Bills were assumed to be hers. No one asked directly. They didn't have to. The number she shared had already spoken for her. Resentment grew quietly among siblings who earned less. Nothing was said. Everything was felt. She wasn't just a daughter or sister anymore. She was the one who has money. That label carries weight you never ask for and can't put down easily. Seneca understood this danger. One of the wealthiest men in Rome, yet he warned repeatedly that wealth, once known, corrupts relationships. Not because money is evil, but because expectation is corrosive. Your value as a person has nothing to do with your income. But others struggle to separate the two once the number is known. They begin to judge your choices through it, your generosity, your boundaries, your refusals. Every no now needs justification. Every boundary feels suspicious. That is the price of transparency. Protect your relationships by keeping financial details private, consistently. Never disclose specific income to anyone except a spouse, a financial advisor, someone legally required to know. When asked directly, deflect without lying. I'm comfortable. I manage fine. Enough to get by. That's not evasive. That's disciplined. Privacy isn't secrecy, it's containment. Money information isn't meant for casual conversation. Once released, it can't be retrieved. Protect the number. You protect the relationship. Thing number 3, your relationship problems. You vent during a difficult moment. You're not trying to destroy anything. You just want relief. Someone listens. They agree. They validate you. And in that moment, it feels helpful. But when the conflict passes, when you forgive, reconnect, and move forward, they don't. You live the whole relationship. They remember only the worst moments. That's the danger. Relationship venting creates permanent witnesses to temporary problems. You experience frustration, repair, growth. They only hear anger, disappointment, doubt, and those impressions don't update. You forgive because you love this person. They judge because they don't. Marcus shared every argument with his closest friend during a rough season in his marriage. Every irritation, every moment of doubt, every sentence spoken at peak emotion. The marriage survived. It matured. It strengthened through the strain. The friendship didn't. His friend's image of his wife never recovered. Not because she was irredeemable, but because he was only shown her at her worst. Dinners grew tense. Conversation carried weight underneath it. Invitations slowly stopped coming. Marcus realized what he had done too late. He had handed someone selected fragments and expected them to see the whole picture. But no one can. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius kept his personal struggles in private journals, not public complaints. Some things are meant to be processed quietly. Venting feels relieving in the moment, but the relief fades quickly. The damage doesn't. Once you damage how others see your partner, you can't repair it, no matter how much the relationship heals. You may change, your partner may grow, but the story you told lives on unchanged in someone else's mind. That's why discretion matters. If you need to process relationship difficulties, do it in places built for it. With your partner directly, with a therapist, in a private journal, not with friends or family who will see your partner again and silently hold judgment long after you've moved on. If you must vent, choose someone who will never interact with your partner afterward. Protect the reputation of the person you chose. Because every time you share a moment of frustration, you are shaping a version of them in someone else's mind, and you don't get to edit that version later. Thing number 4, your deepest regrets and past mistakes. You open up about a past mistake you still carry. It feels honest. It feels healing. You believe confession creates connection. But the moment you speak it, that regret no longer belongs only to you. It now lives in someone else's memory, permanently. What you share in vulnerability becomes information, and information can be stored, interpreted, and reused. Past mistakes, once revealed, become leverage. Not immediately, not openly, but quietly, waiting for the moment it's useful. The danger isn't the confession itself. It's the assumption that the relationship will never change. Because people change, circumstances shift, alliances break, and when they do, what you revealed in trust can be used without warning. Priya shared her deepest regret with a colleague she believed understood her. A failed business, a decision that still haunted her privately. It felt safe, cathartic. Months later, they competed for the same promotion. During casual conversation with management, her colleague mentioned concerns about her judgment. Nothing explicit, nothing that could be challenged. Just enough to plant doubt. The very story Priya shared to heal herself was reframed as evidence against her. Her confession didn't make her human in their eyes. It made her vulnerable. She learned too late that not everyone who listens with sympathy protects what they hear with loyalty. Seneca warned against public lamentation, not because pain should be denied, but because exposure invites judgment. Your past mistakes are your lessons. They are not material for others to evaluate, interpret, or weaponize. The healing you seek rarely comes from casual confession. It comes from disciplined reflection. Process regret where it can't be misused. In writing, in therapy, with a trusted inner circle that has proven itself over years, not moments. Before sharing any past mistake, ask yourself honestly, has this person earned this level of access? Have they demonstrated integrity when things were inconvenient? If the answer isn't absolute, silence is strength. You are not hiding, you are protecting. Some stories are meant to stay private, not because you're ashamed of them, but because you've already extracted the lesson, and lessons don't need witnesses. Thing number 5, your biggest dreams and aspirations. You share a dream because you're excited. You're not seeking permission, you're looking for encouragement. But encouragement isn't what most people give. They give perspective, and perspective is shaped by their limits, not yours. Dreams are fragile at the beginning. They haven't been tested. They haven't built proof yet. Expose them too early, and they absorb doubt before strength. The wrong reaction at the wrong moment can weaken belief before action ever starts. Most people don't mean to sabotage you. They project. They measure your vision using their own risk tolerance, their own failures, their own unfinished attempts, and they call it realism. Omar shared his creative vision with family, expecting support. Instead, he received a list of reasons it wouldn't work. Too risky, too unrealistic, too far from the path they understood. None of them had walked a similar road. None of them had built what he was trying to build. But their confidence in doubt was absolute. Those words stayed with him, not because they were correct, but because repetition makes doubt louder than belief. He hesitated. He delayed. Eventually he stopped. Years later, someone else succeeded with nearly the same idea. The dream had been viable all along. What failed wasn't the vision, it was the exposure. Marcus Aurelius pursued his philosophical ideals quietly while ruling an empire under constant scrutiny. He understood something crucial. Inner aspirations require protection from outer opinion. Dreams need space to strengthen before they're tested. Share them only with people who have proven they can support paths they've never walked themselves. Most people can only encourage futures that resemble their past. If someone has never backed growth outside their comfort zone, they are not a safe container for your vision. Keep dreams private until they're strong enough to survive criticism without collapsing. When belief is solid, opinions lose power. Until then, silence is discipline. Dreams grow best in quiet. Thing number 6, your insecurities and deepest fears. You reveal a fear during a moment of closeness. It feels safe. It feels intimate. You believe vulnerability builds connection, but the moment that fear is known, it becomes information, and information creates leverage. Insecurities shared are not just understood, they are remembered. When someone knows what hurts you most, they know where to strike. Not everyone intends to use that knowledge, but in conflict, temptation is powerful. What was once tenderness becomes pressure. Your deepest fears are not casual truths. They are access points to your inner world. Once exposed, they cannot be unseen. Dara shared her fear of abandonment with her partner during a moment of trust. He listened. He comforted her. It felt genuine. Months later, when the relationship grew unstable, he used it. Every argument came with the same threat. I might leave. He didn't need to shout. He didn't need to insult. He only needed to touch the wound she had shown him. And it worked. Each time, she folded. Each time, she stayed. Not because she wanted to, but because fear had become control. Her vulnerability turned into an invisible restraint. Epictetus understood this well. A man who endured slavery knew the value of guarding the inner citadel, the part of you that remains free unless you hand it over. Your fears live in that citadel. Sharing them grants access to the most sensitive places inside you. Not everyone who enters will treat that space with care. Some will explore it. Some will exploit it. Some won't even realize the damage they're doing until it's done. Process fears where they cannot be weaponized, with a therapist. In disciplined self-reflection through personal practice. Before revealing insecurities to anyone, ask yourself honestly, has this person shown consistent integrity over time? Have they handled power over others responsibly? If there is doubt, silence is wisdom. You are not closed off. You are guarded. Because once someone learns how to hurt you, they also learn how to control you. And control, once given, is rarely returned willingly. Thing number 7, your acts of kindness and generosity. You do something kind, not for recognition, not for leverage. You do it because it feels right. Later, you mention it casually, almost without thinking. And in that moment, something shifts. The kindness itself doesn't change. The perception does. Kindness, once announced, becomes questionable. People stop seeing the act. They start examining the motive. The moment generosity needs explanation, it loses its purity. Instead of inspiration, it creates suspicion. Were you seeking credit? Were you trying to be seen as good? Was it selfless or strategic? You don't get to answer those questions once they're raised. Others decide for you. Chen helped a struggling neighbor financially during a hard season. No request, no expectation, a genuine act. Weeks later, he mentioned it casually at a gathering. He thought it was a story about community, about people helping each other. The response wasn't admiration. It was a pause, a look, a recalculation. "That's generous," someone said, with just enough doubt to change the meaning. Others wondered aloud why it needed to be mentioned at all. The act hadn't changed, but its interpretation had. Worse, the neighbor eventually heard. Gratitude turned into embarrassment. A private struggle had become public knowledge. The help that once relieved pressure now created shame. Two relationships damaged by one unnecessary sentence. Marcus Aurelius warned against this quietly. If you have done good and another has benefited, why seek a third thing, the reputation for having done good? True virtue doesn't need witnesses. It stands complete on its own. When you announce kindness, you convert it from virtue into performance. And performance always invites judgment. Let your actions speak without commentary. If others discover your kindness on their own, that's natural. But never be the source of your own praise. Goodness that needs an audience wasn't as pure as it believed itself to be. Kindness loses power when it seeks approval. Silence preserves it. Thing number 8, your long-term goals and strategies. You explain your long-term plan because it feels responsible. You believe clarity builds trust, but clarity in the wrong place becomes exposure. The moment you describe your strategy in detail, you turn intention into intelligence, and intelligence can be used. Long-term plans are valuable precisely because they aren't visible yet. They contain timing, positioning, and sequence. Once revealed, that advantage disappears. Even people who mean well begin to adjust themselves around your destination. Competition doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes It wakes up only after you reveal the path. Layla shared her 5-year career plan with someone she believed was a mentor. She laid out everything: skills she was building, roles she was targeting, the order she intended to move. She thought she was seeking guidance. What she actually provided was a roadmap. That information didn't stay neutral. When opportunity appeared, her mentor redirected it, not toward Layla, but toward someone else he valued more. Not out of cruelty, out of preference. Her openness had removed her element of surprise. Years of quiet preparation were countered by one conversation. She hadn't been outworked. She'd been out-informed. The Stoics understood this instinctively. Navigating Roman politics taught them that revealed plans often became defeated plans. Seneca wrote about environments where intentions, once known, were immediately obstructed. Your long-term strategy is not a conversation piece. It is leverage. Once shared, you no longer control how it's used. Let your progress be visible. Let your strategy remain invisible. When pressed for answers, offer direction, not detail. I'm focused on growth in my field. I'm building toward something long-term. These statements reveal nothing useful. Keep timelines private. Keep sequences private. Keep contingencies private. Let results explain the strategy only after success makes interference irrelevant. Because the moment others know exactly where you're going, they begin deciding whether to help, hinder, or replace you. Silence keeps the advantage. Thing number 9, your unusual or controversial opinions. You share an honest opinion that doesn't fit the room. You're not trying to provoke. You're not trying to stand out. You're just speaking truth as you see it. But the moment the words leave your mouth, something irreversible happens. You are no longer heard as a full person. You are categorized. One opinion becomes shorthand for who you are. Nuance disappears. Context vanishes. Complexity collapses. Unusual opinions, once shared publicly, turn into permanent labels. People don't debate you. They file you away. Felix shared a nuanced political view during a social gathering. He assumed thoughtful discussion was possible. He was wrong. From that moment on, he became that guy. Every future interaction passed through that single filter. People assumed his stance on unrelated topics. They projected beliefs onto him he never expressed. Invitations quietly declined. Professional warmth cooled. Months later, he learned his opinion had been discussed in rooms he wasn't in, repeated, simplified, distorted. His actual thinking evolved over time, as all thinking people's does. But the identity assigned to him never updated. That single moment froze him in other people's minds. Marcus Aurelius understood this danger well. Despite holding immense power, he kept many of his philosophical views private, not out of fear, but out of discipline. He knew opinions revealed are opinions judged, often unfairly, often permanently. The Stoics valued inner consistency over outer agreement. They didn't need to announce beliefs to validate them. You can hold strong views without advertising them. You can live by principles without explaining them to everyone you meet. Private integrity does not require public declaration. Share unconventional opinions only with a trusted inner circle, people who can handle complexity without rushing to judgment. In public settings, stay vague, deflect, decline the debate, not because you lack conviction, but because your freedom is worth more than winning an argument. Once labeled, you spend years correcting assumptions you never made. Silence preserves range. silence preserves mobility. Your thoughts are yours. Not everyone deserves access to the thing. Number 10. Your family's private struggles. You share a family member's struggle casually, not to harm them, just to explain yourself. It feels harmless in the moment, but the moment it's spoken, it no longer belongs to you. Their private pain becomes public information without their consent, and it cannot be taken back. Family struggles, once shared, don't stay where you place them. They travel, they mutate, they resurface in places you never expected. What you meant as context becomes identity for them. Sana mentioned her brother's past addiction at a work event. She was trying to explain why she didn't drink. That was all. She didn't know he worked in the same industry. She didn't know how tightly networks overlap. The information moved faster than she ever could. Colleagues who had never met him now knew his worst chapter. Not his discipline, not his recovery, not his growth, only the label. Opportunities shifted. Conversations changed. Doors closed quietly. Her brother had fought privately and won. She revealed the battle after it was over, without asking, without permission. Their relationship never fully recovered, because trust, once broken in this way, doesn't fracture loudly, it erodes. The Stoics understood boundaries deeply. Marcus Aurelius wrote about his own shortcomings far more than the failures of others. He knew discretion about others is a form of respect. Other people's struggles are not your stories to tell, not for explanation, not for relatability, not for convenience. Their pain is not supporting material for your narrative. If you need to explain yourself, find another way. There is always another way. Never reveal family members' private struggles without explicit permission. Even then, weigh necessity carefully, because once shared, you carry the responsibility for every consequence that follows. Some stories must remain protected not out of secrecy, but out of dignity. You've just heard 10 things you should never tell anyone about yourself. Not because the world is evil, not because everyone is untrustworthy, but because access must be earned. Your next moves, your finances, your relationship struggles, your regrets, your dreams, your fears, your kindness, your strategies, your opinions, your family's private battles. These are not conversation pieces, they are power centers. Strategic silence is not withdrawal, it's positioning. It's knowing that not everyone deserves a front row seat to your inner life. It's understanding that strength grows best away from noise, opinion, and premature exposure. The Stoics never confused openness with wisdom. They knew discernment was survival. You don't need to explain yourself to everyone. You don't need to defend your path. You don't need validation to move forward. Let results speak. Let character reveal itself over time. Let silence do the work. This is NexusMind, where discipline replaces noise, where restraint creates power, where silence becomes strategy. If this sharpened your awareness, subscribe, not for motivation, but for protection, because the strongest people in the room are rarely the loudest. They are the ones who know what to keep to themselves.